Hi, hello, and welcome. This is Greg Jacobs. You may remember me from such AP Live sessions as AP Physics 1. And today we are taking an live online practice exam, an authentic practice exam, as authentic as we can make it. This is what we are doing today. Yeah, I know you're not used to me up in the corner there, and I'm sharing with you via PowerPoint because today it's all about the exam. This is what we're doing. 2 questions, a 25-minute and a 15-minute question. The clock is going to say 30 minutes and 20 minutes because you have 25 minutes to work plus 5 minutes to submit. And I'll tell you how to do that and all kinds of stuff. Notice that these are going to be as authentic as we can make them, but I'm not on the development committee. I don't know exactly what topics will be assessed. I'm giving you our best shot at our best possible 2020 practice exam. And I do ask you to hold off on discussing these until tomorrow. Tomorrow, I'm going to be back in the big window, back at my demonstration table, and we are going to be talking about this exam. I'm going to go over it for you, and you'll know everything there is to know about it. Right now, it's time to prepare. Pretend this is real. Open up 2 text editor documents. That means Microsoft Word, or it means just your text editor, whatever you write in. Google Docs is fine. Notes is fine. Put your AP number and initials at the top of the document. If you go extra pages, it doesn't matter because you're going to copy and paste this. If you're going to do the handwriting submit, then take a piece of paper and write your AP and number and initials at the top of each page. And right now, while you're waiting, just write a little note to Edna, Bertha, and Anthony. You never know when they're going to be responding, because today only, and I want to highlight today only, you can submit your responses to me. This is not my regular email. This is a dummy email that I have made just for today's lesson. For the next 24 hours, it'll be open. Just have an email open to this address, gregcjacobsphysics@gmail.com. Yeah, Jacobs Physics by itself at Gmail was taken already. So gregcjacobsphysics@gmail.com. Open it up right now. Have the email ready to go. And then question 1 in the subject line. So after you're done with question 1, all you do is you say Control C for copy, Control V for paste into the email, and send it along. This is not how you're submitting on real exam day. On real exam day, you'll be submitting your response on the official testing platform, and I've given you the link to that to practice, and you should practice. That said, for now, if you'd like me to take a look, I'm not going to be able to look at all 20,000 submissions, and now it's up to 28,000 people took Josh's practice exam on Monday. But I will look at a sample of them, and I'll use some of these samples in Thursday's review show totally anonymously. I won't respond, but I'll at least get a sense of what people are responding in this case. So feel free to submit this. It'll be fun. Love to see it. And then you'll do the same for question 2. All right. Are we ready? We have 2 open text editor documents or a bunch of blank paper with your AP number and initials at the top of each page, and you have a note to Edna, Bertha, or Anthony. Are we ready? Are we set? All right. The first question, go to this link, and you can download the very first file. It says Wednesday, May 6th, practice question number 1. You're going to have 30 minutes, but that's only 25 minutes to work, and I will not say a word until the counter goes red. That means there's 5 minutes left to submit. At that point, stop work. It's not worth trying to write one last thing down. Even if you're going to get one more point, that's risking losing all of them by not submitting. I want those submissions by the time this counter goes down. Are we ready? Are we set? Go ahead and access that file. This is not the full file. You have to go to this link right now to get it. Are you there? I bet you're there. I'm going to start the timer. I'm going to mute my microphone, and I will be back with you when that submission window hits 5 minutes. Kick butt, folks. For reference, folks, the second question will be revealed on YouTube only. So you have to wait, just like at the real AP exam, you have to wait for the timer to expire to start the second question. Keep on trucking. And somehow the timer got screwed up. I'm going to set it to where it should be in just a moment. There it is. Auga! You may have noticed that your counter has gone red. That means it is time, ladies and gentlemen, to submit your work. No, seriously, stop working. Whether you are taking a picture of your pages and submitting them that way, whether you are submitting by copy and paste or by attachment of a text file, it doesn't matter. You need to stop right now. It's not worth it, folks. Yeah, oh, wait, I could finish one more sentence here. Really, I could. Maybe I'll get this last point. What if they take off if I don't mention this? It's not worth it. You know why? Because if you don't submit this in 4 minutes and 23 seconds, if you don't press submit and confirm the submission, you don't get anything. You get a big fat zero. No pity, no remorse, no exceptions. That's one of the mottos of the reading. We love you. We want you to do well, but we cannot grade what you don't submit. So please, right now, submit it. If you are submitting to me in the informal way, this is not the official way. On the official site, you can practice on the AP demo site. But right now, if you would like, gregcjacobsphysics@gmail.com. gregcjacobsphysics@gmail.com. And oh my gosh, they are coming in fast and furious. I really appreciate it. I will try to get to as many of these as I can just to read them and get an idea of what people are saying about this problem. Remember, we're not going to talk about it on Twitter yet. Tomorrow, noon Eastern time, on this very show, I will be once again behind my demonstration table, and we will talk all the way through all these problems. So hold your horses until then. Just as on the real AP exam right now, you're just going to have to wait. If you've submitted, as so many of you have, and it's wonderful, I can't tell you how awesome it is. When I broadcast sports, I have the same feeling of there might be 1,000 people listening all over the country and the world. We've actually had listeners from 7 continents because one family was taking a vacation to Antarctica in January and they listened to a basketball game. So we've had listeners on 7 continents for our sports broadcasts. And they email in, and I feel like I'm at the center of this web. I'm feeling that same way now as so many people send in their responses to the questions. I'm not going to be able to read them all, but I will look through as many as I can. And you know what? Eventually, if I have 2 weeks after the exam before I start my the AP reading in my institutes, maybe I'll go through a bunch of these and just look at what you said. Please do submit them to me. Greg C. Jacobs Physics, gregcjacobsphysics@gmail.com. Send them on in here. And if you have, hopefully, you're just waiting right now. This is how it's going to be on the real exam. That's why I'm doing this. I'm not letting you access the second question yet on purpose, because the real exam platform will make you wait. Everybody in the world does this simultaneously. The actual exam is 4 p.m. Eastern time on May 14th. But that means 3 Central, 2 Mountain, 1 Pacific, and then I never get the time zones right when I go to Europe, Africa, or Asia. And I don't think anybody's taking in Antarctica, but I have no clue what time zone you might be on there. 145 remaining. Make sure these things get submitted on the real AP platform, which you should practice on. I have a link to it on the next slide. At some point, just go play with it if you haven't already. You will have your opportunity to select either to upload a file or to upload a picture. And once you do that, you have to actually do the upload, or you can just copy paste into the box. And then once you've done that, you say submit, but then you have to confirm submission, because once you've submitted, you can't go back. Submit everything. Those of you who are taking pictures, make sure you've taken a picture of every page. If you worked on 2 pages, take both pictures and submit both pictures. You can't, you don't want to forget one. Make sure you didn't submit a picture of your dog. I mean, if you did to me, I might see it, I might not. I love seeing pictures of your dogs, but that's not going to help you on the AP exam. We will say, oh, how cute, and we will mark a 0 on your score. But dog rates, as I've pointed out on Twitter, dog rates might give you 12 out of 10 for that submission. It'll call the dog a very cute dog. All right. 30 seconds remaining. Get those submissions in. If you want to give it to me, it's gregcjacobsphysics@gmail.com. And I have so many submissions here to the extent that I can't even count. I'm going to have to figure out how to make Google Mail, make Gmail count this for me. But I will go through as many of them as I can, and I will go through in some random order. So just because you are the last one or the first one doesn't mean you are going to or not getting them. But right now, 3, 2, 1, you would be cut off. If you haven't pressed submit and confirm submission by now on the real exam, you're done. You get a 0 on that problem. You can still do the second problem, so don't panic. But I remind you that a late submission is not an acceptable reason to do late testing. Meaning if you miss the submission deadline by a couple seconds, you can't just say, oh, I missed it. Can I try it again in June? They won't give you a ticket. Make sure you submit on time. Very, very important. Okay. Once again, we're going to do question 2. Feel free to submit question 2. Put question 2 in the subject line so I can see which one I'm looking at. And I really will look at as many of these as I can in preparation for tomorrow's show. That's my big job to do tonight, in addition to possibly a Dungeons and Dragons campaign. Are we ready? Question 2. Open up a new file. Question 2. Have a new piece of paper. If you want to write a message to Anthony, Bertha, or Edna, please feel free. And we are ready to go. The question is right here. You do not need to go to a link. It's right here. This is your question. 15 minutes remaining plus 5 minutes to submit. Go. All righty then, you see the red. You see the red. It is time. I'm getting so many wonderful submissions and I'm going through them. Um, I appreciate all the kind notes to Edna. I appreciate all the kind notes to me. I appreciate all the answers, right, wrong, or indifferent. Tomorrow at noon Eastern, I will be going over both of these questions in great detail. We'll be discussing how to solve them. We'll be discussing alternate solutions. We'll be discussing where I think partial credit would be awarded. I don't have a rubric. We don't know exactly how the rubrics will be formulated this year. I'll find out in early June because I am a question leader. I don't know the questions. I don't know anything about it other than I'm going to be a question leader. And in early June, I will be given a bunch of responses and I will have to say, all right, here's how I think the points should be awarded. And then we'll argue amongst the question leaders and we'll finally come to a consensus. That's how it works. But right now, I'm just looking at everybody's response and I'm so thrilled that there are so many great responses here. They ain't all perfect and that's to be expected. But all I ask you to do is get most of the points on most of the parts. That's all you can do. You can't control how it's graded. Um, you can't control whether you're exactly right in one place or another. You can't control if you kind of misunderstood what the question was asking. Who cares? Just do your best and submit it. Submit it because if you're trying to get one last line in right now, that's a bad idea. You only have 3 minutes to go. I do want you to notice, I'm looking at responses that are mainly copied and pasted into email. That's great here. I really do encourage you to copy and paste into the text field on the real cb.org exam platform. That said, a lot of people are uploading text files. That's fine too. That's very easy to read. A lot of you are taking pictures of handwritten responses. That's fine too. But I do want you to notice, that there was nothing here that required a diagram, a derivation, nothing at all. There were some equations to write. There are definitely some equations you could write here and there, but they were all equations that you could write very simply with a standard keyboard. Nothing here requires you to make diagrams or handwriting. Yeah, you can make some diagrams that support your solution, but they're not necessary. That's why I encourage you, and so do all the development committee members I've talked to. They encourage you to type and copy and paste into the text field. That's the best approach. That said, we'll read anything you send us. As long as we can read your writing, we are happy campers. Make sure you check the allowed file formats if you take a picture. The allowed file formats do not include that iPhone.heic file. If you upload a PDF, you can't upload that as an image file. You have to upload that as if it were a text file, and it's very complicated. I do recommend you just copy and paste text, but just make sure you have the right kind of image file and you'll be fine if you want to take pictures of your work. I will be on Twitter for a little while after this. I haven't been on Twitter for about half an hour. I've been reading your responses, but please do not tweet me about these specific questions. I will not answer. I ask you to stay off of Twitter on anybody's handle about these questions for another 24 hours. Why? Because some people are going to watch this on delay. It's approaching 1 o'clock here in the Eastern time zone, but there it is 1 in the morning back in, or approximately 1 in the morning back in China, Korea, Vietnam, where I have a bunch of my students who are just waiting to wake up to take this exam. Great. They can do that because nobody's going to discuss this on Twitter. They'll have the same opportunity that you have right now. And you can still submit. If you're watching this later on today, on Thursday night Eastern time or Friday morning Eastern time, that's fine. Go ahead and submit. I'll still look. But tomorrow at noon is when I'm going to just bring forth all of the answers I can think of that I might have seen, and we'll talk about them. I've really enjoyed working with you all. I will see you tomorrow at noon. We will be on Friday. We will have a special guest on Friday, and you will thoroughly enjoy it. We're going to talk about exam preparation. We're going to talk about physics. We are going to just have a good time. And I will introduce our special guest to my pet hippopotamus named Edna. 13 seconds, get that submission in. It's Greg C. Jacobs Physics @gmail.com if you'd like to let me see what you've written. I can't see all 20,000 of them, but I can see a lot. All right, that, folks, is time. These are the 5 steps to get ready for the AP exams. Please bookmark this or take a picture of this, take a screenshot. Make sure you have done all 5 of these, and then you will be ready for May 14th. It's been a pleasure working with you all, and I will see you tomorrow, noon Eastern. Take care.